Getting a job in the tech industry can be one of the most frustrating and challenging things that you could ever have to do. Yes, there are thousands of tech job opportunities that are posted every single day, but because of the benefits and high salaries, there are tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people applying to the same exact jobs as you every single day. And with AI fears and companies like Amazon cutting 16,000 jobs just last week, the competition has never been more intense. But what if there was something that you could do to apply to tech jobs that have low competition? And these low competition tech jobs are actually the best jobs that you can land. I'm Chase, a software engineer at Meta, and I didn't get here by applying to the same jobs as everyone else. I figured out early that the real opportunities aren't on LinkedIn's front page with 500 plus applicants. They're in places where most people aren't looking. If you want to be that person that everyone wonders, how did you land that six-figure tech job without having to fight with everybody else? Then make sure you stay and watch this video to the end, because I'll show you everything that you need to know and exactly how to find these jobs. Okay, so first let's talk about why everyone's strategy is flat out wrong, because the conventional wisdom that doesn't work is to apply on LinkedIn to popular companies or apply to faang and big tech and send out hundreds of applications. But the reality is that popular LinkedIn jobs get 200 to 500 plus applications in just 24 hours, and faang jobs get thousands of applications per role. So if you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're going to get the same results, which are rejections. So then the question is, where should you actually be looking? Now, I have a couple strategies that I recommend for this, and the first one is to target mid-sized companies, so companies with 100 to 1,000 employees. Why these are gold mines is because most people are just applying to companies they've heard of, and mid-sized companies get 20 to 50 applicants instead of 500 plus, and they still pay 120K to 200K for engineers. So you're getting a solid salary, and you're also getting better work-life balance and faster hiring decisions. So how do you find these companies? Well Found, which was formerly AngelList, is a good option because you can filter by company size, so you can specifically target companies with 100 to 1,000 employees. And also another way is to look for Y Combinator companies that are between 2 to 5 years old. So some examples of these type of companies that people overlook are Plaid, Notion, and Canva. These were all mid-sized companies at some point, and they paid extremely well. So my next strategy is to target non-tech companies, because the massive opportunity that everyone ignores is that a lot of these companies do still need engineers. For example, banks still need engineers like Capital One, Goldman Sachs, or JP Morgan, as well as retailers like Walmart, Target, and Nike, and also defense companies like Lockheed Martin and Raytheon. Now, why are these particular companies low competition? It's because engineers think, I want to work at a tech company. So they end up completely ignoring these industries, and they have a much lower application volume. And the jobs are actually still great. They pay around 100 to 180K, they have a lot better work-life balance, and there's more stability at these companies. And specifically, Capital One pays 120K to 160K for new grads, and they have a pretty solid culture. And also, Walmart pays 110K to 150K, and they compete heavily with Amazon. And also, defense contractors like Lockheed Martin, they pay around 90K to 140K, and they're extremely stable and low competition. Now, the best way to find these particular companies is to search by industry, so searching software engineer finance or software engineer healthcare. And another way is to go through the Fortune 500 list, and for each company that you're interested in, Google the company name followed by software engineer jobs. Now, my next strategy is a location hack, because there's a lot of remote jobs at companies based in cities like Austin, Denver, Phoenix, Nashville, or Raleigh. And most current engineers, as well as aspiring engineers, are focused on the tech hubs, so New York City or SF or Seattle area. And so since they're fixated on those three tech hubs, they tend to ignore the list of cities I mentioned earlier. And that's good news because your odds skyrocket when you apply there, because there's going to be way fewer applications. And so the companies you want to target for Austin are Oracle, Dell, Indeed, and Tesla. And for Denver, you want to target Palantir and Google. And for Raleigh, Red Hat, Cisco, and IBM. Now, how do you find these particular jobs? There's a website called Built-In that has specific sites for cities that's really good for this. So like Built-In Austin or Built-In Denver. And also LinkedIn is another good way because you can search software engineer remote, and then you can filter by the company location in any of those cities. Now, my next strategy is to apply before the jobs are even posted. This is the ultimate low competition strategy because 70 to 80% of jobs are filled through referrals before they even hit public job boards. So by the time it's on LinkedIn, you're competing against hundreds. So how do you get there first? You want to cold outreach to hiring managers and recruiters. So you want to find companies that you like on LinkedIn and message the managers that you're interested in this company and ask the company if they're hiring for the role that you're interested in. And even if they say no, there's a good chance they'll remember you when they do hire for that particular role. And for networking with recruiters, you do want to follow company recruiters on LinkedIn so that if they do post job openings, you'll be able to see those and also message them about opportunities. And they'll reach out when roles open, oftentimes before the roles are posted publicly. And finally, you want to attend company events as much as possible. So things like tech talks, meetups, or hackathons, and talk to engineers or recruiters in person. So that way you're not a random resume anymore. Why this works is because you're applying to jobs with 0 to 10 applicants instead of 500 plus applicants. And by the way, if you want me to implement a personalized strategy for you to land your dream job in tech or build wealth to retire early, click the first link in the description to work with me one-on-one. But for now, let's get back to the video. Now, my next strategy is to have a niche technology stack that helps you stand out because everyone learns the same stack, right? Like JavaScript, Python, React, or Node. Those are extremely competitive and thousands of people are going to have the exact same resume with those technologies. But there's low competition stacks like Rust that are really valuable because there's companies like Discord, Dropbox, and Cloudflare that use it, and companies struggle to find Rust talent, and there's way fewer applicants as a result. Another good one is Golang because Docker, Kubernetes, and cloud companies use it. And also there's high demand and there's much lower competition than languages like Python or JavaScript. And this one isn't a language specifically, but if you're good with embedded systems, that's really valuable because IoT, robotics, and automotive companies like Tesla or Rivian depend on embedded, and there's way fewer people who actually want to do embedded, and there's very low competition. Now, those are just 3 examples. This isn't a complete list, but how you want to leverage this is you want to pick some niche stack that's in demand but not yet oversaturated and find target companies that are using that stack because this way you're competing against 50 people instead of 5,000. And now my final strategy is to target government and public sector jobs. Now these are the opportunities that nobody wants because federal, state, and local government all need engineers, but almost nobody applies because government is seen as boring. Now why these roles are actually amazing is because they have insane job security. There's basically no layoffs and it's nearly impossible to get fired. They also have decent pay. It's around 80 to 130K depending on the location, and they have amazing work-life balance. The max you're probably going to work is 40 hours a week. They also have pensions and benefits, and there's basically zero competition. Now, the best way to find these jobs is to go to the website usajobs.gov because they have a full list of federal jobs, including at places like NASA, the NSA, the FBI, and the IRS. But if you don't want to get a federal job, you can also look at state and local government job portals as well. Now, let me be 100% real and talk about why this really works, especially now. In 2026, with the AI and the layoffs everywhere, everyone's fighting for the same FANG jobs. Laid off senior engineers are basically flooding the market, and so if you apply where everyone else applies, you're going to lose. So the low competition jobs have much better odds because there's mid-sized companies, non-tech companies, and government companies that are still paying 100K to 180K plus, and you're basically competing against way fewer people. So with these strategies, the math is really in your favor because 1,000 applications to FANG with a 0.1% success rate is 1 offer. But if you submit 20 applications to low competition jobs with a 10% success rate, that's 2 offers. So you want to work smarter, not harder. So let's talk about your action plan. This week, you want to make a list of 10 mid-sized companies, and you want to research 5 non-tech companies that need engineers, and you also want to apply to at least 3 to 5 low-competition jobs. And this month, you want to message 5 hiring managers or recruiters directly, and also apply to 15 to 20 low-competition jobs total. The key here is to stop doing what everyone else is doing and go where the competition isn't. I'll talk about my own path because I didn't land Meta by just applying on LinkedIn. I had to network with Meta engineers at meetups and I got a referral, and that referral got me the interview. And there's a real possibility that you might even outperform FANG engineers because I had a friend who was at a mid-sized company and he applied to Datadog when they only had 500 employees. It's way less competitive than FANG, But they IPO'd, and so the stock options that he had made him a lot wealthier than a ton of FANG engineers as well. And also, there was another engineer I knew who specialized in Rust. While I was busy learning JavaScript, he learned Rust and he got hired at Cloudflare immediately because they were desperate for Rust engineers. So, what the pattern is here that I'm trying to convey is that all of these people went where the competition wasn't, and they all have great careers. So that's the exact process I use to find tech jobs with low competition and actually land offers without fighting against thousands of other people. And I know this works because this is how I got into Meta, and this is the strategy I recommend to everyone who's struggling in the current market. Now you have two options. You can take everything I've shown you in this video and try to figure this out yourself, or you can click the first link in the description and have me build a personalized job search strategy for you based on your specific situation and goals. And if you're not ready for that yet, I highly recommend watching the video on screen next, where I talk about why tech will crash in 2026 and how you can still position yourself to win despite the current state of the tech job market. The choice is yours. Thanks for watching, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.